Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is Michael Nixon, and this is Geek Crash Questions. And that was my clever way of faking a fade from black. So hopefully that was impressive enough for everyone. I'm Michael Nixon.
I'm Diana Mikhailo.
And we're the hosts of Geek Crash Course. And today we're bringing you a special live hangout from Geek Crash Questions. So, hey, what's our first question?
Well, before we get to questions, we are going to chat about the Kickstarter a little bit. Michael?
Yes. Sorry, I'm sending the link out to a friend of ours. Yeah, so the Kickstarter is still running. We just hit our halfway mark time-wise. That'll be tomorrow. But we haven't yet hit our goal halfway. We're, I think at last count, like $70 away from our halfway point. So, yeah, we will be tweeting out a link to that Kickstarter at our Twitter account at Geek Crash Course. You can find us there. We'll also, if you have any new questions, post those our way also at Geek Crash Course.
On Twitter. Regarding the Kickstarter, just one more thing. We do need your guys' help. If you can give $1, $5, $10, the prizes get cooler. The more money you can give, and it helps us keep making the show because we do need a couple bucks to keep going. Yeah,
we certainly do. We're not sure if we can keep the show alive without your help, so lend that our way. And without further ado, let's get to the
Geek Crash Questions.
Titular Geek Crash Questions.
And as we're asking questions, feel free to tweet us. We have the Geek Crash Course Twitter up, and we will live answer some of your questions.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first question is for Michael. We got it through YouTube. It reads, I know you guys have a lot of shows you have listed to cover, but do you see Geek Crash Course expanding in any way in the future?
Yes, you are watching one of those expansions. This is Geek Crash Questions. Hello.
Hello.
We'd like to make sort of the live hangout a regular feature, hopefully, of the show. Potentially a podcast as well called Geek Crash Commentary that we're working on. But again, the whole Kickstarter thing, if we can't make our goal, I'm not sure we can keep any of this going. I promise that'll be the last I mention the Kickstarter for a little bit. We'll get to some more questions from you, our loyal viewers, and hopefully some new folks that were joining us. So our second question is also from YouTube. It's, Diana, what's the glowing alien gummy bear? Oh, and how's it glowing?
I actually didn't understand this question at first. Michael had to explain it to me. On our Fun Facts bookshelf, we have a bunch of little toys and knickknacks and stuff. And what they're talking about is this little guy, if you can see it. I got him at Comic-Con last year from MakerBot, which is a 3D printing company. And it's not glowing, it's just incredibly green.
Can you show that guy again?
I can show that guy again. Here's our little MakerBot alien.
Hey, there he is.
And then one other fun thing that's on the bookshelf that no one's actually mentioned yet, but is one of my favorite things. It's the Lord of the Rings ring. It's the replica from the movie. It's been sitting there, I think, for like the last 30 episodes. And if you've seen it, if you've noted it, good on you.
I didn't. It wasn't invisible to me.
Michael, next question. How do you feel about the new Power Rangers coming out?
I believe the question asker is referring to the upcoming Megaforce, the poorly titled 20th anniversary series. There's a lot of stuff going into this. I'm glad Power Rangers is seemingly the only property to have escaped Disney's grasp. They had it and they let it go, which is kind of crazy. That said, I'm more of a Sentai guy these days. I watched a little bit of Samurai, but Shinkenger's just so good, I can't allow it to, they can't cross-pollinate in my head. I think the last Power Rangers series I watched was RPM, which, Diana, you would like. It takes place in a post-apocalypse, so that's kind of your thing, exactly.
That's so my thing.
Yeah, right? But, I mean, as little excited as I am for Megaforce, I'm really excited because of the 20th anniversary stuff that's going on. It's 20 years of Power Rangers, which is like 1 year of making Michael feel really old. And it was cool. I mean, the parade stuff was really cool. We got to see like 20 Red Rangers, and one of them was a girl. I mean, that's crazy. That's one of those things that like, if you would have told 3-year-old Michael one day there's going to be a female Red Ranger, who in my head is always going to be Princess Shinken Red, but, it's cool to see, and that's wild. It's not, again, I'm not exactly their target audience, but I'm excited for it. What is our next question? Oh, Diana, are we ever going to find out who the mysterious silhouette was?
We have a team of expert monkey hackers working on it, but still nothing.
Ah, darn.
Next question. Michael, who is your favorite James Bond?
My favorite James Bond, man, I would have to say it's there's like 6 of them, or 8 or 9 of them if you count the non-canon guys. But it's like a 3-way tie for me between Daniel Craig as the modern guy. He's great. Connery is, of course, like the classic Bond. But I think that there are some Bonds who don't get enough credit, and I think even more than Lazenby, I don't think Dalton gets enough credit for kind of the stuff his era tried to do. How about you?
I sort of have a 2.5-way tie, I guess. I really like Craig because he's the most realistic of the Bonds. I like Sean Connery because he's Sean Connery. And my half is Pierce Brosnan just because he is a sexy, sexy man.
I mean, I wouldn't argue against that. Yeah. Next question.
Next question. Michael, how many Spider-Men do we really need?
Spider-Man? Oh, there are never enough Spider-Men. I love Miles Morales. The Ultimate Book is great. Miguel O'Hara, you can never get enough Spider-Man 2099. I wish they would do something new with that character. Who else? Ben Reilly, you can take or leave. I like Kane as Scarlet Spider now, and I think Kane's the only good thing that came out of the Clone Saga. But Diana, you have some thoughts on the various Peter Parkers we've seen recently.
I do. Well, in general, my thoughts on Spider-Man, or any character really, is that the more characters they're played by, the more stories you get. So I really like that aspect of the changing persona. And then there's the Peter Parkers in the movies. Peter Parker is played by Tobey Maguire. Peter Parker as played by Andrew Garfield. I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, reasonable. And, I mean, I do think that the best Spider-Man of all Spider-Man, the crown holder, still remains Japanese Spider-Man. I mean, the guy had a giant robot and like a car that flew into the giant robot.
I don't know. I kind of like bad old school cartoon Spider-Man because he's supposed to be like a 17-year-old kid and he's voiced by a 40-year-old man.
Yeah, there is that.
There's that.
I have to go back to high school. Kind of a thing. Oh, we just got a question came in from Twitter. Hey, Michael, what are your thoughts on Go Sager and Go Busters? Well, I didn't like Go Sager at all, hence my apprehension about Megaforce, other than its title. And I'm really enjoying Go Busters. I think it lost a little bit of steam in the episode 30 apparent change of production teams. I hope that's not really what happened, but I'm the guy who likes Hibiki, the Kamen Rider show no one else likes, so my opinions may vary for other people. Next question. Diana, Hunger Games versus Battle Royale. Where do you stand?
So I'm going to go on a bit of a rant for a minute. I don't think Hunger Games is a ripoff of Battle Royale. It's possible that two people come up with a similar-ish idea at a similar point in time. And I know the Battle Royale came out first because it was completed in '96, I think, and it was published in '99, and then they made a movie out of it. But there are a lot of big differences. Like, yeah, there are kids dying and killing each other, but in Battle Royale, it's a research program for the military. It's very behind closed doors. Kids are gassed and dropped on an island and saying, like, oh, kill each other. In Hunger Games, it's an event that's broadcast on TV, and it's the government sort of like poo-pooing the public and asserting their power. And it's like this big media circus, and it's prestigious to win, so kids really try and win, and they're trained for it. And in Battle Royale, there's a lot more senseless violence. Like, they don't really know what they're doing. Some kids are given bays, other kids are given pickaxes, so it's not like there's not much of a fair chance. And then they have these exploding collars, so sometimes their heads just randomly explode. So that kind of makes it
There's like a
like
rotating segment
weird.
thing, which is weirdly similar, actually, to Hunger
Yes,
Games. But
that's true.
yeah.
The rotating segments thing is similar to the second Hunger Games book. What will be the second Hunger Games movie? But
Spoilers.
other than that, yes. But in general, there's nothing's. I don't think anything's really original story because they both take elements from like The Running Man and Mad Max and Gladiator and any Aldous Huxley book or 1984, anything, any post-apocalyptic kind of thing. So those are my thoughts. I'm done.
Surprisingly, she kept that below 5 minutes. Wow, I
I
think
did.
my Power Rangers rant was longer than your Battle Royale rant. I don't feel good about that. I feel bad about that. We have a question. Actually, it's the same question from we have two different people asking the same thing. One on YouTube and one on Twitter. Are you two dating, engaged, or just really close friends?
Michael and I.
Yeah.
Michael and I are not dating. We are
No.
not engaged, and we are
No.
not married. Although we
No.
were once asked if we were married.
Yes, by Fraser Hines.
Hines.
That's one of my favorite. That whole day is a great day.
That was the one.
But Fraser Hines asked you if we were married, and then when I said no, immediately started hitting on you.
Yes, he did, and that is one of my favorite stories to tell at parties.
Agreed.
Michael and I are dating. We are very good friends and we work together really well. We met in college, and we have just sort of been writing buddies and regular
We work
buddies.
well together. That's all, though. Diana's
we-
boyfriend would have problems if I was dating.
We balance each
I
other
like
crazy
that
out.
guy. Yeah. We even each other out pretty well, I think. So, next Geek Crash question. Oh,
Next question, Michael. If you had to be a character on Battlestar Galactica, who would you be?
oh man, it would have to be Admiral Adama, originally Commander Adama, obviously. I'm assuming we're talking about the remake, the newer version. So definitely Admiral Adama. He has a magnificently formidable mustache, and he has pockets in his uniform, which is, hard to beat.
You pockets in joke?
Oh yes. For people who don't know about the pockets thing, they made all the uniforms from scratch. They actually hand dyed not hand dyed, but they specifically made the fabric to order for the uniforms. So they made all the uniforms, and part of like the cost saving of that, which the corners, the cut corners in the paper, that's the cutting corners joke of the show as well. But none of the uniforms had pockets. That's my original point. And there's an episode in, I think, the fourth season, the last season, where Admiral Adama is walking the halls and picking up trash, and he has to put it in his pockets. So they had to make Admiral Adama, they had to make Edward James Olmos custom new uniform pants that were appropriately aged and also had pockets. And the story from set was that Edward James Olmos would go around set to all the other actors and say, "I've got pockets," presumably through his formidable mustache.
Incredibly formidable mustache.
Yeah. So Diana, how about you?
I would be Starbuck from the new series, obviously, but she's a badass. She's the harbinger of death. Like, it doesn't get more badass than that. Plus, she beats the crap out of everyone on Galactica. Everyone. She hits everyone, I think, at some point in the series.
Yeah, and sleeps with like half the people too.
Yeah.
We don't judge.
So.
Yes. So, Diana, what is
Yes.
your take on the plot hole created by the Doctor Who self-crossovers with past Doctors crossing their own time stream from YouTube?
Well, theoretically, all of the Doctors could be, like, every Doctor, I know he's the same guy, so not all of the Doctors, but every actor that's played the Doctor, just go with it. All of the Doctors, could be in the same place at the same time.
Well, not the exact same place.
Well, not the exact same place, because that would defy physics, and if they touch, then the universe explodes. But they could be in the same area, or in the same place, but in the same point in time at once. And if they don't meet, it's not a big deal, but then when they do meet, it is a big deal, but it's not a plot hole. It's a bit of a paradox, but it's an information paradox, because if the previous Doctor knows where his future self is going to be, then that creates an information paradox. So in the old series, they used to solve this by, after they parted ways, the old Doctor would forget meeting the future Doctor.
Yeah.
But it's not like your classic paradox, because the Doctor Who has taught us time is wibbly wobbly stuff.
Yep.
And the new series hasn't actually addressed it yet because the Doctor hasn't run into himself.
Well, he has in the Children Need special where the 10th Doctor met the 5th Doctor.
Well, yeah.
And the whole thing about that was that because I guess the Time Lords aren't around to enforce these things, because the 5th Doctor saw the 10th Doctor do something, the 10th Doctor knew to do it, which created the information paradox we were talking about, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
But anyway, just them meeting each other doesn't create a paradox, so I don't think it's a plot hole necessarily, because he's a ventriloquist. He can do whatever he wants, and he knows the rules, so he's allowed.
The last of the Time Lords, etc.
Yes.
Let him have fun.
Yeah. Next question. Michael, if you could pick another theme month, what would you pick?
Toku months forever. Just a month of space sheriffs. An episode on Japanese Spider-Man, just to drive you insane. Power Rangers out the wazoo. How about you?
I would pick post-apocalyptic dystopias, going back to the Hunger Games and Battle Royale thing. I have this weird obsession with once the world has ended and there's a totalitarian regime and they take over everything and everything is bad. I don't know why. For the record, I did pick Whedon month and Academic August this year, so I did get a theme month. It just wasn't announced like yours was.
And Academic August. We should have announced.
Yeah.
We did announce Academic August, mind you. But,
right, but we announced Toku month because it was your birthday.
You
got a birthday announcement.
Question actually related to our previous one. How are the recasts of past Doctors who actors have passed on handled? Is it ignored and passed off as the same person? Yes, they actually had to do this once. In the 5 Doctors, unfortunately, William Hartnell had passed away, so Richard Herndl stepped into the role of the 1st Doctor, and it was never really talked about. I think the original plan was for him to be an evil robot doctor. It was going to be called the 6 Doctors, but they bailed on that idea when Tom Baker didn't come back. And Tom Baker's only in that episode in footage from Shada, which was never finished. More Doctor Who facts next year. Kickstarter.
We have another Doctor Who question.
Okay.
Do you think River Song has given the Doctor more regenerations?
I actually mentioned this on Twitter last week, I think. Yeah, I was rewatching Angels Take Manhattan, and then there's that bit where the Doctor gives River a little bit of his regenerative energy, which reminded me that she can't regenerate anymore because she brought him back to life with her. She expended like the last of her regeneration energy to him.
To stop him from dying, and we see her die in her first appearance in Vashta Narada.
Spoilers. Haha.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I also personally think that it might be a way for them to extend the series because theoretically he's not supposed to have more than 13 regenerations, so we're sort of
13 lives.
12, right?
It's a whole thing.
So we're sort of running out of Doctors.
Yeah,
and the show's probably not going to end. So I think the River Song is a good way around that to have the series keep going, and you could probably have like at least another 6 or 7.
Yeah, from the regenerations we've seen of her and the ones that have been implied, theoretically she could have given him 9 more lives.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the whole thing to deal with that the 13th Doctor could potentially be evil, so we have to deal with that. There's that whole Valiard thing, and I'm half hoping they address it and half hoping they don't, but we'll see.
What else? Michael?
Oh, we got a list. Yes.
Are you ready for a trifecta of Toku-related questions?
Yes.
1. That was not 1. 1. Who is your favorite 6th Ranger in the Super Sentai series?
I will answer this with a doodle I got at San Diego Comic-Con, specially commissioned from the amazing watercolor artist Katie Cook. It's the Dragon Ranger from Jew Ranger, or as I knew him when I first saw him, the Green Ranger from Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Tommy. He's the guy. I always like the Green Ranger more. The Dragon Zord is awesome. There's nothing like a good guy Zord that comes out of the water and proceeds to destroy half the city and then help the good guys. Thank you, stock footage. Next question, go.
Next question, number 2. What is your opinion on episodes of Kamen Rider Wizard being uploaded and subbed?
Yes, Kamen Rider Wizard is up and out and going right now, and I'm not a magic or fantasy guy particularly, and I find the entire cast really kind of annoying. So Wizard has been slow burn for me. I am not a huge fan, but it's like the most recent episode, it started warming. I also think the guy has like 6 forms already, and we're 12 episodes deep. It's too many toys.
Excessive?
It's a little much. Next.
Last question. Michael, not last question of the thing, just last Toka question. Michael,
Toka trifecta.
Yes. Who's your favorite Kamen Rider?
Favorite Kamen Rider? There are so many of them. I think, let me cut this in 2 parts. The pre-2000 riders, I cut them into 2 halves, which people don't necessarily agree with me at all on this. But the pre-2000s riders, I would say Black. The Kamen Rider Black is an awesome show. I was raised on 80s music, so anything 80s-y really works for me for some reason. And Shadow Moon is just a terrific villain. If you have to go, if it's post-2000 double, hands down, it's pulpy, noir, detective, and if you can get past the 2nd episode with the giant T-Rex head, it's like a really, really just great show with one of the better endings in Kamen Rider, I would say.
All right.
So yeah, cool beans. Next question is, let me get back in the document here. Diana,
yes.
Do you think Superman needs an armor suit since he's supposed to be invulnerable?
No.
Well, there you go.
Oh, you more. I think it's there's sort of 2 parts to this answer. One is that logically he doesn't need a suit of armor because he is invulnerable, and it's one of those like, why do bullets bounce off of his chest but he ducks when the gun is thrown at him kind of thing. But part of the reason that they gave him an armor suit is because DC wanted to make the look of Superman more unique than just tights and underwear, so they could trademark his image.
Yep. That's the whole New 52 thing, is because they were afraid of the whole Action Comics deal. They have to make him look different.
Yeah. Right. So now they can trademark his suit of armor look.
Actually, I just got this button from the comic store today. The S, you'll notice, the New 52 S is different than the previously copyrighted
it is.
S. That's even a part of it. Oh, is this backwards to you? Hopefully not.
No, doesn't look backwards.
For some reason, mine's mirrored here. Anyway.
Next question. This is for Michael regarding the post-hurricane vlog that you did to let everyone know we weren't moist.
Pleasantly dry. I wish I should tear off of my building, but
that's not good.
Yeah, luckily the rain was coming like sideways, so none of it actually came into the building, which is nice. But it did get really cold because all the heat sort of went that way.
Are those Sentai toys in the background of your vlog?
Yes, I have a pretty vibrant mini plot collection. I've got this guy. It's Bokeno. I've got all the Go Kaiger ones. I'm working on the Go Busters ones. They're candy toys. They're models. They're it's like the old Gundam models. If you had those growing up like I did, I don't really buy toys anymore, but I buy these because I get to build my own toy, which is kind of awesome. Also, we had a question about my the sonic screwdrivers behind me, which you may have noticed. I have a pretty robust sonic screwdriver collection. I don't know if the laser screwdriver was on display because I was fixing it. The battery actually leaked, and I had to clean out all the electronics.
I feel so under-equipped. I only have 1 sonic screwdriver, and you have like 19. You have like 3 of every sonic screwdriver.
No, I have 1 of each. I'm missing the 4th.
You are.
And I have 2 of the 11th, but the other one is a working screwdriver, so you got to give me some credit there.
That is cool. And for the record, Michael did get me this for my birthday 2 years ago. So props to Michael.
Oh, and then you got me that rotating TARDIS thing.
Oh, I did. I got it's a little magnetic TARDIS, or it has a little magnetic platform, and the TARDIS sits on top of it and spins.
Nice. It's one of my 3 TARDISes. I have funnily enough, they're each from each of the different modern Doctors. My coin bank is a 9th Doctor TARDIS. Look at that guy in his leather. My USB hub is a 10th Doctor TARDIS. And the flying one you gave me is the 11th Doctor with the little St. John's ambulance sticker.
Actually, speaking of Doctor Who, we got we got a couple more Twitter questions.
Ooh.
The first one, Liam Crosby high-fived me virtually on Twitter about about my theory with River Song and extending more doctors past 12 doctors.
I'm all about more doctors.
I'm all about Twitter high fives.
Hey.
And then his other question was, do you think we'll ever see the Master again? And
Yeah.
I really hope so. I mean, I'm sure we will, but I just really hope so. I think he's a fantastic character.
Agreed. I think I like the Master as a villain better than I like the Daleks or the Cybermen because he's the Doctor but evil,
and
but not in that Valiard kind of way.
It's so tragic.
Oh yeah, the way that I think I have some problems with the way the modern series depicted him, and that he's zany and ridiculous. But then again, the classic series Master wasn't exactly tame either. I would like to see the spin-off media, the audio version, kind of dark, grim, kind of mastery, Jeffrey Beavers, decaying master sort of character show up again, just in terms of personality. And funnily enough, John Sim said in an interview he agrees with me. John Sim being the guy who played the Master in the Tennant era. He wants to come back and be a proper bad guy, and I'm all for it. Less running around in a hoodie, more cool turtlenecks and being mean. I'm all for it.
We also had
a beard. Let me play him. I have the beard. Anyway.
No offense, Michael. I don't think you're quite menacing enough.
Give me a second. All right.
Much more menacing.
Yeah, there you go.
Our next Twitter question is, what is the worst continuity snarl in nerd television you've ever seen?
Toughie.
I have one that I can jump in with because I was watching it yesterday. I was watching Terra Nova on Netflix yesterday, which it's pretty good. It's got some good stuff in it.
It's a show that happened.
It is a show that happened. I'm only like halfway through the season, the one, so I'm sure other things happen. But it was really frustrating me. They were trying to open that box that the Sixers were trying to steal, and they couldn't figure it out. But they have like plasma cutters that can break you out of jail and cut through steel bars, and they can't open a box.
This is a thing. I don't know if that's even a continuity snarl. That's just somebody forgetting what they have.
But
that's weird. Yeah, I don't forget.
Come on. You can break out of jail with a little plasma cutter, but you can't open a box.
Yeah. I don't know. Continuity snarl, toughie, because I'm a fan of good solid retcons. I don't know if this counts as a continuity snarl, but as much as I like Fringe and as much as I'm enjoying the last season so far, I feel like they've forgotten like almost half of the mysteries they set up in the first season. Like there was my favorite, the one that I always go back to that people always forget is there's a mention in the first season, I think, where Broyles is talking about when do we tell them about the first Fringe team. Like there was a team before them that did this. Yeah. And it's one mention like at the end of the episode, and they never talk about it again. Yeah. Which is a thing. And then there's also the stuff about how what we saw of Peter in the machine when he goes to 2026 is like one of the 15 things he's doing in that machine. Like the comic tie-ins are all about like he goes to alternate universes and meets like a dozen Olivias and like all of this crazy like pre-Destiny stuff that they never talk about in the rest of the show. So I think Fringe is a walking, talking continuity snarl.
Actually, yeah, I think even bigger than Fringe, Lost, like as a television series, is a continuity snarl. Like I couldn't even begin to list them.
Don't get me started. It's too much.
The show as a whole is continuity snarl, and I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely, yes. DigiRanger 1994 on Twitter wants to know, have either of us seen Wreck-It Ralph yet? I unfortunately have not. I
have not seen it yet. I have two little nephews that are like the cutest children in the world, and I'm gonna go take them so like I can pretend I'm taking them, but I just really want to go see it.
Perfect experience. That's great. I mean, I'm all about good audiences for movies, and I feel like being in an audience of kids seeing Wreck-It Ralph will really work.
So much fun. Sure.
That's like my old Bond fans in the morning audience I had for Skyfall. Best audience ever. So good. Rivals my Snakes on a Plane audience.
Oh my god.
Best other audience ever.
I'd
Uh,
imagine they were kind of drunk.
yeah. Diana, we have a rather caustically worded question from Facebook here for you. Why do you always wear glasses to further perpetuate geek stereotypes?
Well, that was tactfully phrased.
Tactful,
Um,
level-headed, well done.
so tactful. For the record, I wear real glasses. These are actually my real glasses, and if you watch the early days of the show for like the first 20 or 30 episodes, I wear these. But I swapped to dummy glasses because my eyesight is so bad. I get this little, like, they call it like micro lensing or microvision, where because of the space between my eyeball and my glasses, everything looks just a little bit smaller.
Do
And
you
we
have
use it.
X-ray vision? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Not yet,
Oh.
but I'm working on it. I'm waiting to get the LASIK surgery, which may be laser surgery, which will then basically make me Cyclops.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
But so anyway, I have trouble, or I had trouble reading the teleprompter. We shoot the show using little teleprompter sort of dealio. So I swapped to dummy glasses when I had my contacts in, just so it was easier for me to shoot the show. But I do actually wear glasses, and these
So
are
do
them.
I. They're right here.
And I mean, I like my glasses. I like the look of them. It just makes shooting the show very difficult. And I didn't want to lose the glasses halfway into the show because that would have been weird. That would have been a continuity snarl.
A continuity snarl. Although we've had like 3 me's by now, so although we do have an internal continuity for that, which is
We do.
impressive and needless on our part.
And
right, so
our last question, before we check out if we have any more Twitter questions, is what's your favorite little-known British sci-fi show?
This is a toughie. For me, oh man, I want to say Red Dwarf, but now enough people know about Red Dwarf, so I feel good about that. It's amazing. Go see it. The most recent season is perfect, and it's the best jumping on point ever. But my favorite little-known British sci-fi show is the original 1950s Quatermass Experiment. It's one of the greatest sci-fi serials ever made, I think. I own the script book. I have it around here somewhere. Like the 60s printing of it. It's like one of my prized possessions. But I don't want to talk too much about Quatermass Experiment because it is on the schedule for 2013. And Kickstarter reference. Help us keep the show alive. How about you, Diana?
I think my one of my favorites is Survivors, the 2008 or not remake, but like reimagining of the 70s show. It only lasted 2 seasons, but it's like this post-apocalyptic dystopia after this worldwide plague kind of dealio, and you know I'm into the what happens after the world ends and everyone's dead thing. So yeah,
Right.
that's
By
my
the way,
deal.
did you know that the original Survivors was created by Terry Nation, the same guy who created the Daleks?
Yes, I did.
There you
And
go.
I actually got into Survivors because I had one of the best Netflix recommended for you categories. It was the strong female leads in British post-apocalyptic scenarios or something.
They're getting too specific with these categories.
They know me.
Oh, it's too specific.
So specific.
Oh, we got a recommendation. I should check out Karaoke and Cold Lazarus. You have to check that out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it.
Um.
Let's do one last check of the Twitters.
One last check. If you have any last minute questions, tweet them now. Right now.
Yes, right now.
Get on the tweeter or the tweeter and tweet us.
I'm gonna check the YouTubes as well. We've got nothing new. Oh, hey, Josh Bernhardt agrees with Cold Lazarus, and Numidi Weekly loves Red Dwarf as well. Hey, Numidi Weekly, good to see you.
Josh Bernhardt actually recommended Survivors to me when I posted about my funky Netflix category on Facebook.
Nice. Josh Bernhardt and I have talked about my insane 5-year plan involving Doctor Who, which we had a question about the Ronnie, does involve the Ronnie. So they have to give me that show first to write, but it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Josh Bernhardt of Pioneer 1, which we did an episode on, and you should check out. and New Media Weekly, which we did an interview with, and
We
I'm
did
working
an
on some
interview
other
with them.
projects with the man behind it, Mark Cuevas. So yes.
So that looks like that's about it. We're gonna wrap up our first Google Hangout Geek Crash Questions, our first live one. Check us out on Facebook and on Twitter at facebook.com/geekcrashcourse and at Geek Crash Course on Twitter. You can also find us at our website, geekcrashcourse.com. And what else am I missing, Michael?
I am not sure. Oh, you can find me at Michael Nixon on the Twitters.
And you can find me at Diana DeKilo on the Twitters. I'll post it up on my little lower third there.
I'll do it too.
Yeah.
Quickly adjust the lower third, and there we go!
Woo, there it is.
Right.
Other than that, please donate to our Kickstarter so we can keep the show going. It's a lot of fun for us. We love making the show. We love hearing from you guys and making the show for you guys, all of you out there on the internets.
It's true.
Thanks for being fans, and thanks for watching the show. It's really exciting that we've been able to keep the show going for a year and a half.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and we want to keep doing it, and we have a very long schedule of shows planned for next year.
And a very exciting schedule.
Yeah, we want to do more of these and some podcasting and just generally a lot of things. So help us out, share it with your friends. Thank you very much, and we will see you hopefully next time on, wait for it, I'm clicking the button now, make the lower third go away, Geek Crash Questions. There it is, right there.
There it is.
So
Thanks,
that
guys.
is it. Thank you very much. Hanging up.
Have a lovely night.
Keep on geeking.
Keep on geeking.